Psychopaths. Psycho? This series is weird, but it's good. It's very intelligent. Makes you think. Very deep. Something I love about anime, it really hits the spots that are like that usually people like kind of just keep really deep inside. And it makes you think. You know, like, okay, what if the Sibyl system was real? What if you can take everything about human security and double it? Nothing is safe. They know everything. I mean, here it's a very organic situation. It's very... It's very technology based, but we're not thinking like cybernetics or like cyberware or so not everything's, you're not the computer itself, but something like this, I wouldn't say it's possible now by any means, obviously, but a future like this could be very possible. Maybe not in the way it's exaggerated here, but like nothing is safe anymore. You have one bad thought in your head. Or however it really works, it's very deep and complex, but I mean, people have been doing this for years, psychology. Just studying human behavior, and it's kind of freaky. You know, just studying other people like that, like it's just a way to like how does that do well for their own psyche when they're like, or that's like their job is to just experiment on people, like, because it's like, you know what, behavior, attitude, it's all kind of whatever. It's just part of human nature, fine. But it can get detailed down to such a science where this kind of system, it can affect your entire existence, your life. One bad thought, one kind of... In the human mind, it's survival instincts. It can't help but to go there sometimes. It does happen. I don't care if you're the most like mentally stable person in the world or something. Like, I think your mind will always wander into these dark places here and there, even if like 90% of the time it's all good. Like, that's just crazy. It's so weird because like you can live in such a safe world, but then it's the argument between, okay, like no crime basically, you know, we really crack down on crime coefficiency and what do they call it? I just got a refresher of all the lingo they use in the show. Latent criminals. Yeah, it's just crazy to think about, because like either they're gonna pull out their like fancy guns. I forgot what those were called too. Oh my god. Oh, that's bad. But I mean, either way, it's like you're either gonna get shot. This isn't this universe. But honestly, it's not very far off from like real life either. But I mean, yeah, either that, death, or if you're lucky, jail. Yeah, because I think everyone has this kind of mindset where, oh, I'm a good person and I'm normal and all these things, but it's like, dude, everyone's, you know, kind of messed up in some way or another, and it does happen. Once again, just part of the human experience. And it's not so much that I'm not condoning it or like glorifying human kind of lostness. Yeah, God, it's so weird because, like, you know, you could be such a nice person or all these things, and then all of a sudden, this is what the show's about, and this is what the game is, the exact same thing. Psychopath's mandatory happiness. Mandatory. You have to be happy. Like, you have to be smiling, you have to be normal. It'd just be so weird to live in a day and age like that where you have to like practice. I mean, dude, old school methods like heart rate sensors and stuff like that, I'd probably say forget about it at this point. Because you literally live in a world where, and it's not gonna be natural, right? Unless all of a sudden this whole species around this time is just so used to, like, in the DNA and genetics, they're so used to hiding their feelings and pushing it all deep down and basically learning how to be a robot. That's like as close to this as possible, and especially when you're thinking future AI robots. It's already such a thing, and then now it's like it's a crazy thing. It's something I'm not opposed to personally, like this whole, like, you know, how things look in the future, robots, us, blah blah blah. I'm actually kind of for it. It is scary, change is scary, but at the same time, it's advancement, it's technology, this is where these things go. And, you know, we're not time travelers, unfortunately, but I mean, hey, if we make it to this time, great. Because it could be good. It's scary thinking about this now, though. That's the whole kind of thing here, is like, well, everything is so loose right now anyway. No one really knows anything. You can't look at someone or scan them and kind of just know all these things. Like, it's impossible. The human brain and shit is like, isn't it like, what, still one of the like greatest mysteries ever or something? Like, it's never really been a fully developed or researched or like congruent concrete kind of thing, because there could be studies, you guys can do whatever you want all day long, every day, but it's not really gonna, it's not much different from the meaning of life or just those things that are just so beyond us. And it's funny too, because it's all right here. It's not even like, okay, in the stars, or I mean, the two are kind of connected in a way, but like, it's not. It's strange. It's not like, oh, let's make a map of the world. Let's make math. Let's do some science stuff. Let's you know, it's so beyond that. And usually animes like this will kind of go right over me. Mostly like stuff with like time travel. I cannot understand that stuff for the life of me. Cause it can get way too much. Like, at least here it's like, okay, a somewhat distant future, dystopian, cyberpunk, Blade Runner, near future, not far off. These systems are already kind of in place anyway, and I mean, like, today, I wouldn't say we're in an advanced era by any means. Like, dude, I think a lot of things that are going on is still very prehistoric and ancient in my mind. Because where the future could be, where it's depicted at from media, movies and stuff, we're a way long ways off. And yeah, to be fair, 20, 50 years ago or something, they would have said the exact same stuff, like, oh, there's no way a game could look that good, or a movie. It's, here we are. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, how far can this stuff go? I'm not really sure. You'd think that there could very well be some limit, because a lot of these things haven't been around for that long. Technology, the internet, I mean, it's always kind of been a thing, but it's never really like gone anywhere like tremendously. Overall, like in little small ways here and there, sure, but yeah, I think a lot of anime is really good. Cartoons, adult cartoons are really good at like predicting this stuff. I mean, these all came from something, from somewhere, from someone, and all it takes is a person's mind to put this stuff out there, to put into our minds, and then it's like a whole freaking cycle. But other than all that like deep stuff, it's just entertaining. You know, it gets the mind thinking. You can pay attention, but you don't have to pay too much attention. It's still a good show overall. Yeah, I think as of right now, there's about 2 seasons out. Something like that. I had them on DVD, and there's like a movie or something. God, it's such a good show. I was really getting into it too. It's really fun to binge because it really catches your attention. Because I normally don't like crime shows or like drama or stuff that you'd probably normally see something like this, but in more of like a real light, or it's just that stuff's kind of boring. It's like cozy in a way, like it's usually very chill and very comfy and kind of low tone, and so yeah, it's nice in that way. And that's kind of what this is, but just with a little bit more of a oomph, a little bit more pizzazz. Like when there's action, and it's good. But aside from the show, and it's, I have to put that in because there's like animes that are kind of just there and they exist and are cool, fine. But when it comes to stuff like this, where there's actually some sort of a deeper message and it's not so plain and simple, and I mean, this is like my kind of thing. Like, I love to kind of just be entertained alone as it is, but if I can like get some kind of reaction or feeling out of it and be entertained as well, that's kind of a nice bonus, because you're getting like a 2-for-1 deal. So yeah, they did that very well here. It's good. Yeah, between the first and second season and the movie, or I get it all kind of a little confused. There's not much of it out there. Like, there's just enough to really make its point and to be a thing. But they're obviously not, like, spamming this series by any means. But yeah, they're both good. It's just more of this, like, season 2 or the movie, whatever. It's just more of season 1. It's just more of what you sat down or laid down and really took all in and just enjoyed to the fullest. And that's pretty cool. It didn't go too out of their way to be like, to take things to such an extreme level. It's just more of good stuff. Like, they have a really good formula going. But the game's good. It was actually surprising though when I first saw it. When I think when you discover an anime game, or just any game really, that you didn't know about, it wasn't because of a leak or a video or word of mouth, but like just yourself, like going through the store, going through a sale or something, you're like, oh cool. I didn't know that existed. Great, I'm gonna get it. It's like every time I see stuff like that, it's almost like a, like, not every anime game obviously, but if it's something I actually really like and that I could believe to be a good game, and I know just enough about it, or I want to be surprised, or I don't know too much about it, whatever, it's almost like I gotta have it. And that's exactly what happened with this game, easily. I was like, dude, Psycho-Pass? A video game? Hello? Yes, please. Yeah, it was cool. When I got it, I held onto it for a while, but I was so anxious to play it. Like, when I finally actually got to it, man, I loved it. It is a visual novel, which I think is the first and only visual novel I've ever played. I really don't do that stuff. I like it. I mean, there's some games that are visual novel-esque. Like, it's kind of like watching a movie, but you're doing QTEs, you're doing point-and-click stuff like that, but this was just straight up like, dude, I wasn't doing anything other than enjoying it, which was actually kind of nice for a change. Yeah, the cutscenes look good.
東京都外、特に北陸方面の街頭カメラ、スキャナー、その他公安局管轄のデータ収集システムによる記録内容は確認したか?
It was very immersive. It was very, and this was around a time where I was kind of dipping around some other anime games as well, so it was kind of like a nice thing to kind of put in there compared to what else I was playing at the time. I was like, you know what, I'm feeling some Psycho-Pass, I'm feeling some like chill, laid back, relax, just kind of enjoy it. Yeah, no, it's cool too, because it's not all just like reading. There's a lot of reading, but it's not all just like sitting there listening to them talk either. But like, they'll throw in some like kind of curveballs here and there. Like, they actually give you like some options to pick from, whether it's like a sentence or choices or like, I don't know. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, this game's cool because they threw in season 1 and 2, I believe. It's been a long time since I've seen the show. I mean, this was back when I was just binging Funimation, buying DVDs and stuff and just going hard. But it was mostly around that time where I watched a lot of anything or did anything, and then like before then it was kind of like here and there, and after now it's been pretty much here and there. But yeah, that's what's cool about these games, is I can play this and kind of make up for that whole anime thing. Yeah, downside is it was a little hard to follow, at least for me. It's gonna depend on who you are and how your brain works, and are you able to even comprehend half the things they're talking about. They use some very big words in this game. Granted, it's not English, but I mean, you're still like reading it, you're still listening to them say these things and like processing it all and trying to follow along. But for me, it was kind of like, well, generally you're gonna get what's going on, but it can be confusing. I mean, this isn't really like a brain dead anime, you know, simple little fun, wacky, funny show to watch or something, or game to play. It's definitely like, you know, I could guarantee if you're not at least like an adult or something, you're probably not gonna like be able to wrap your head around half of this. It's one of those very sophisticated, mature, wise shows. And there's only really so many shows or animes like this that I can really think of that kind of take it to that level. Because they all kind of do in some way or another, but it's either mythological or it's like some fantasy, but here it's just like they really dig into the whole like realness of it all, and it's intriguing. It's nice to have stuff like this because you could take a nice break from the usual, which is all that fantasy stuff. And like when some people don't like anime, it kind of blows me away because like, dude, there's some really good animes out there. They're not all like, you know, Japanese wackiness, yada yada yada. Like, they're just as good shows as anything else. It just happens to be depicted in this style and format or whatever. English, subtitle, blah blah blah, dub, whatever. It's media, dude. Like, this stuff gets made and distributed and stuff for a reason, because it's just that damn good. Like, it's been a part of our culture, especially, or mine at least, or whatever, right? As for years. That's how it's been, that's how it always will be. I mean, there's no getting rid of it anytime soon. I love it. There's not a lot of countries and stuff that are able to really share and express their own cultures to the world, because it's very, a lot of it's very kind of hidden and locked off and censored from everyone, which is kind of a shame. But you know, that's why these shows and games do so well, is because they're made so well. It's pristine. So much to a point where that's how we're able to get our hands on it, is because it's just that damn good. Yeah, the game's good. I wouldn't really, yeah, there's cutscenes, but they're not like cutscenes. It's just dialogue and like their lips move, and there's sound effects, pictures. It's just weird for me because usually like stuff like this, because it's a very anime-esque game, like this is the direction they'll most likely choose. But at least in other games there's movement, there's 3D stuff happening, there's an actual cutscene of some sort, even just here and there, which makes it worth it when those do come around. But here it's just and I'll admit, like, it wasn't easy to play either, because like half the time it honestly put me to sleep. Like it can be really slow. It can be kind of boring and lame. It's obviously not quite the same as just watching the show, being able to sit back. You're not pressing buttons, you're not like kind of reading. And I watched the show in English too, so the more I was able to kind of just enjoy it instead of like I'm spending all this energy trying to understand it, that it's just exhausting. But yeah, it's something you're gonna have to be in a mood for or have some energy for or something, because but I mean, I'm not saying it's really that's a bad thing on its own, because there's a time for a game like this and there's a time for games like other stuff, which is perfectly fine. But it was just unfortunate because I'd want to get on and play, but it depends on if you're tired or you're hungry or just not feeling well or something. Like, it sounds like such an easy, smooth, soothing game to put on, but really that's kind of the problem, is that if it doesn't catch your attention enough, you're not really gonna want to stick with it and go through it. I thankfully got through it. It took a while, but because I remember a couple times I did have to switch to some other games to kind of just keep me awake, because I'd play at night. Yeah, it's entertaining, but it's very monotone. It's very it keeps this really stable energy. Like here and there it'll kind of be a little bit more upbeat, or you know, you gotta have patience. It all comes down to patience with stuff like this, and this definitely wasn't my first time around trying to be patient for some sort of anime or Japanese related something. Like, it's nothing new to me, so it was fine. Other than that, there's not really any downsides. The learning how to play was a little, they kind of just throw you in. They don't really tell you like what to do. Like, all you do is press continue, whatever. But like I just remember at first it was hard to access the menu. Like, the controls are weird. They tried to do things so simple that it actually became more complicated, really, and fine. But yeah, like, just to save the game or to load, or it's not like AAA experience. With a visual novel, you only need so much. You're not spending all this money on these intricate cutscenes and gameplay and the kind of budget that would go into most normal games. Yeah, it's kind of my only downside, I guess. I think they rehashed a lot of things, a lot of scenes, a lot of locations. Like, it's just back and forth, it's kind of wild. But obviously they were talking about different things, there's different things going on. You go to plenty of different places, the variety's there. And just like the show, and just like crime shows in general, really, like stuff like this, the music was top tier. The music is what keeps you going ultimately, because like, if not for that, and the music carried the game. I honestly, the game's good on its own, sure, but like it's just that, because it's cool, because even though I don't like this stuff normally outside of what this is how I'm able to like that stuff, and it's just cool to like everything. It's cool to enjoy everything, well, for the most part, right? And just, you feel cultured about it, you feel experienced and smart, and it's nice. This is definitely no random anime. Like, Psycho-Pass is very well known. And to be honest, a lot of the more popular animes, I would say, overall, between the West and all that, like it's shows that are normally dubbed. It's shows that are in English, so more people can enjoy it. And that's pretty cool. A lot of respect for that, actually. Like, a lot more than I could express, basically. Yeah. God, the music, though, I can't... The music, when that music kicks in and they start talking about, like, whatever they're doing, like, they're like really getting into the case and like breaking down the suspects, or like they got a plan, the music kicks in or whatever. And they're talking all big and stuff, and it's just like, yeah dude, this is cool, I'm so into it, let's go and let's do this. God, I love those moments where you can kind of just like get into it with them and be like, yeah. It's fun. Yep, mostly positive, some downsides. It's normal. It's good. If you want something that'll make you think, if you want something that'll entertain you, some good music. The voice lines and the dialogue, by the way, are really good. Like, they're very well voice acted. Which is standard, but here it's such a serious tone where that's why it is done very well, because it has to be. That's the formula this was going for, so great, all the better, right? Yeah, Psycho-Pass.